Hey everybody, wanted to do a quick little video on refrigerant and refrigerant oils. So refrigerant and refrigerant oils, it's important that you use the right refrigerant in the system and also the accompanying oil too. So if you start blending and stuff like that, it may not be approved by the SNAP program, which I'll be doing a video on the SNAP program pretty soon. But you could have, it could be a legal one, and also your pressures are going to be different. They're going to be kind of strange. So I wanted to go ahead and get started right now. Let's see. Let's go ahead and open this up. All right, and we're going to go start off. Okay, very good. So refrigerant oils, again, we're going to be covering part of the elements of the ASE A7 certification test. I want to talk about start talking about refrigerants and how they pertain to the environment, and also get into some of the legal impacts and laws that you need to be aware of. Also get into explain the safety precautions of refrigerants, and we'll talk about the oils and their viscosity as we go along. Okay, so I have three pictures here. Well, one big picture, but three different refrigerants. These are the most common refrigerants. Now, under the SNAP regulation, there's other refrigerants. Like I said, I'll be covering those at a later date. But these are the three main that you may come in contact with when working on customer cars. R12, maybe not so much. It's more of a pre-90s refrigerant. Then after to the early 90s, we started going into the R134A. And then after about mid 2010, we start seeing the R1234YF refrigerant. So our R12, it's going to be in a white bottle, you might say. Also in 134A, it's got like a light blue. And then when we go into the R1234YF, you're going to be a red stripe on the bottle. So these are three different types of refrigerants, and you don't want to be mixing them. Like I said before, 134A is in a light blue bottle. It comes in either a small 1 pound or a charge kit that you can get at your AutoZones and your O'Reillys and stuff like that. It also comes in a 30 pounder. Now, to buy the 30 pounder, you need to be certified. You have to have your 609 certifications. Parts vendors are required to check for a certification, so you get a little card with you when you pass your 609 test, and then it proves that you know how to handle refrigerant. On your 1234YF, same rule applies, but in the 134A, 30 pounder may cost you close to $1,000. Now, usually quite a bit, well, a little bit less. I mean, I think the last one I bought was somewhere around $600 to $800, but that's been a few years back. But the 123YF, it comes either in an 8 ounce, a 10 pounder, and also a 25 pounder. Now, the 8 ounce it cost, and the last time I seen it was $44.99, where the 10 pound bottle comes at a price tag of $849, and then your 25 pounder is about $1,300. And this is when I priced them last, so the prices could have gone up farther. So this is why you need to be really careful about any kind of leaks you might have, either in your customers' cars, and I'll talk about the safety implications on that too, and also in your refrigeration machines. You want to be leak checking them all the time and being very careful about how you handle the different refrigerants. Now, like I said before, all people that are servicing refrigerant systems where we have to actually open them up and recover the refrigerant, and we're charging the systems. That you need to be certified. You have to have the EPA 609 certification. Now you can get these at different places. You get them through Max, you can get them from ESCO, you can actually get them also straight through the EPA. They are a take-home test or an open book test. It depends on how you take the test. You could do it a proctored, or you can actually do it online. It really depends on how you want to do it. I believe the last time I took it was $20. Sometimes you get some special deals at the parts houses you deal with. They'll have seminars. Well, you come to the seminar and it's a freebie type thing. But just look around and see if there's any kind of deals. Now, this covers the R134A and also covers the 123YF refrigerants. So you're well versed. Now, the thing is, after you get certified, you don't have to retake the certification test again. They just, at this point, all they ask is that you stay current with the different procedures and the handling of refrigerants and stuff like that too. The big thing about R12, and this was a huge thing, R12 had a chlorine molecule in the makeup of it. It worked really good. Don't get me wrong. The refrigerant gets the AC system real nice and cold. But the problem with the R12 is that the R12 had that molecule of chlorine. When that chlorine actually would be released, or the R12 would be released, that chlorine molecule would go up and kind of attach to the ozone molecule and destroy the ozone molecule, which then cause, of course, the ozone layer to begin to deplete. And now, just one chlorine atom can actually destroy 10,000 to 100,000 ozone molecules. So you can see how important that is, that we actually take care of handling refrigerants. Now, R12 is ozone depleting, and also it has a global warming potential too. So there's different refrigerants that have actually certain specifications on them, and also a certain criteria of marking them on a scale on the ozone depleting, and also on the global warming potential difference too. So we need to talk more about that a little bit later on. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is R1234YF. It does not have an ozone depleting, so 134 doesn't either, and both of them have do have a global warming potential, but 134A has a lower global warming potential than R12 does, and also R1234YF has an even lower. And I believe when I looked at the charts last, when it's through the SNAP program, it was a value of 1. So it does have one thing. It does have a flammability probability. So it has an open flame and there's a leak in the 1234YF system. It could potentially catch fire. So that's a big concern. All refrigerants, doesn't matter which one it is, if it's a blend or whatever, it has to have a unique fitting to it. This is required by EPA regulation. So you'll see different sizes. They will not be interchangeable between the fittings, or at least they should not be. And anytime you do any kind of retrofit, like from R12 to 134A, you are to label the system and put the new fittings on. I tend to go a little overboard, they say, but I think it's the best way. If you do a retrofit, you're going to start changing parts. I change the compressor, the lines, and the condenser at a minimum. If it's accessible and if a customer will go for it, I'll actually change the expansion device, and also I'll change out the evaporator too. So it's like a whole new AC system when I go from R12 to 134A. I've seen too many bad experiences for my customers when it comes to just doing a quick retrofit with fittings and stuff like that. Now, for 1234YF, there is no retrofit. It has a that global warming, of course, of one, but it also has a potential of flammability. So this is where you do not want, and you, in regulation says if you say you have a component leaking, or bad, maybe you're having a condenser bad, then you're going to change out the condenser. You're not going to go to the junkyard and get one. I'm sure there'll be people that do, but this is what your regulation says. You change it out with new. Now, the R134A and R1234YF have a very similar operating pressures. There's a little bit of a split as you get very high on pressure, but it's very close to. So there is, the operating pressures when you're diagnosing will not be a lot easier for diagnosing. So this is very, very true. Now, like I said before, there is a flammable possibility for our 1234YF. And you want to make sure you pay attention to that. And when you're actually working under the hood, you want to make sure your 1234YF systems that are not leaking onto the exhaust or any kind of open flame. So continue on. This is a label that actually shows what I was talking about. Here's the flammability possibility, and it says caution, of course, and it wants to say, hey, make sure you have a certified person working on it so they know what's going on. So you want to always use a proper torque when you're putting things together. If you over torque them, you can actually damage the O-rings and you could possibly have a leak. So you got to take care all systems, but of course you want to always be in a well ventilated area. Have all your PPEs on, your shields or your goggles, I would say have mechanics gloves on, long sleeve shirts too, because if any refrigerant gets onto you, and you could have freezer burn also. There is another gas you can use, but I would say the downside or the concern about CO2, works really good as a refrigerant, but they have, the CO2, which is R744, it has to be at 7 to 10 times higher than actually R134A. So there's a lot of pressure. I'm not saying there's no vehicles out there. There's actually a Toyota, fuel cell hybrid that actually uses it. And there again, it's under a lot of pressure, and you want only maybe working with a specialized machine. Like always, all machines should be specialized for that refrigerant, and you want to have a certified person working on it. And I would say, even though you are certified to work on the systems, I would say get yourself some extra training on the R744 or the CO2. Refrigerant safety, like I start in, but I always jump on safety, safety, safety. You want to always be thinking safety. It says safety first, but I would say safety always. Wear your goggles or a shield. Have gloves on. Always be in a well-ventilated area. If liquid refrigerant splashes on your skin or your eyes, it immediately boils and absorbs heat. and then you could actually go blind. You want to be careful about that if it gets in your eyes. You could have freezer burn, of course. Uh, um, if R12 or R22 is ignited, so these are other refrigerants, it will turn into phosgene gas, and then you could actually have a poisonous gas that actually could kill you. Again, well ventilators will help a lot, and some of the refrigerants that have been marketed, some of them actually have been banned and considered illegal, and if they still show up every once in a while. Some refrigerants, are easier to work with, but there again, make yourself familiar with the different types of gases out there. And I would definitely think about looking at the safety data sheets on them to make sure you're well versed in it. And always make sure the refrigerants are in a well ventilated area too, because some of them can actually bleed off. Now, here is one of the refrigerants that was actually marketed, and this actually is a drop-in, as they call it. They called it ozone safe. I believe the market name for this one was Free Zone, and I have that one little can. I think I showed you it in class, and it actually is one of them on the bad list of EPA. And like I say, when I get into SNAP, I'll show you all about it like that too. But this has, it's supposed to be a drop-in for R12 and 134A, and it has butane in it with 134A. So, which of course, butane is your butane lighters and stuff like that, is very flammable. Concerns about having a refrigerant in containers, and you want to make sure there's at least 80%, not filled up past 80%. You want to have some space on top that actually gives it enough expansion room. If you fill it up higher, then let's say 80%, of course, this can be really tight, but still you want to make sure your machine scales are calibrated, and your machine scales come with a little calibration weight usually, or you can buy the calibration weights too. And if you overfill it, like say up to 90%, what can happen is as it's heated up, so if let's say you get a nice warm day and maybe you're working out in the sun, it will direct that heat on that bottle, and that bottle can actually cause an explosion. It can blow off the fittings for the valves, and it could be a really bad scene. So you want to make sure your scales are calibrated so it only fills up to like 80% at the max. You want to make sure you have enough space in between. Different types of oils. Again, your refrigerant and your oils need to be compatible. Your R12 used a mineral oil back in the day, and then your R134A is used a PAG type oil. There is a PO oil that is for the hybrid vehicles. There are different oils also for your CO2 type refrigerants. And not only that, but also the oils have different viscosities, and this viscosity is very important when it comes to the compressors. To find the viscosity, sometimes they'll do it right on the label, but a lot of times it's right on the compressor. So you have to be able to look at the compressor to see what oil you need to have in it, and they come in different ranges. 46, 100, 150. It just depends on the compressor you have on it. So just to recap, refrigerants can escape to the atmosphere, and your R12s can be a ozone threat. And then we also have global warming. The Clean Air Act places requirements for technicians to follow, and when servicing mobile air conditioning systems. I'll talk about the SNAP program in a future video. Any person where they're working on air conditioning systems and they're going to be opening up the system, it must be EPA certified under Section 609. And then safety precautions should always be followed when handling refrigerants. You can get you can go blind. You can all kinds of things can happen, and frost burn, of course. And then refrigerant oils are available in different viscosities, and the specific oil must be used when servicing an air conditioning system. So I hope this was helpful. And if it was, please like the video and subscribe. Always leave a comment down below. If there's something you would like me to cover in a future video, please let me know. I'm already doing some videos for some of my followers. So we're done for now, and I will talk to you soon. Take care now.